Before we get into our message for today, I'll start off with a little funny. It says, a minister told his congregation, next week, I plan to preach about the sin of lying. And to help you understand my sermon, I want you all to read the book of Mark, chapter 17. The following Sunday, as he prepared to deliver his sermon, the minister asked for a show of hands on how many read Mark 17. Every hand went up. The minister smiled and said the book of Mark only has 16 chapters. So now I will proceed with my sermon on the sin of lying. To celebrate and honor our Black heritage, I want to read this, and I'm sure that most of you has probably heard it over the years, but I think it's appropriate. And it also really talks about the two stages of consciousness, because a lot of people feel like this, and then God's word is always urging us to grow. So it goes like this. Lord, Lord, why did you make me Black? Why did you make me someone the world wants to hold back? Black is the color of dirty clothes, the color of grimy hands and feet. Black is the color of darkness, the color of tire-beaten streets. Why did you give me thick lips, a broad nose, and kinky hair? Why did you make me someone who receives the hatred stare? Black is the color of a bruised eye. When somebody gets hurt, Black is the color of darkness. Black is the color of dirt. How come my bone structure so thick? My hips and cheeks are high. How come my eyes are brown and not the color of the daylight sky? Why do people think I'm useless? How come I feel used? Why do some people see my skin and think I should be abused? Lord, I just don't understand. What is it about my skin? Why do some people want to hate me and not know the person within? Black is what people are listed when others want to keep them away. Black is the color of shadows cast. Black is the end of the day. Lord, you know my own people mistreat me, and I know this just isn't right. They don't like my hair or the way I look. They say I'm too dark or too light. Lord, don't you think it's time for you to make a change? Why don't you redo creation and make everyone the same? And God answers, why did I make you Black? Get off your knees and look around. Tell me, what do you see? I didn't make you in the image of darkness. I made you in the likeness of me. I made you the color of coal from which beautiful diamonds are formed. I made you the color of oil, the black gold that keeps people warm. I made you from the rich, dark earth that can grow the food you need. Your color's the same as the panther's, known for her beauty and speed. Your color's the same as the black stallion, a majestic animal is he. I didn't make you in the image of darkness, I made you in the likeness of me. All the colors of a heavenly rainbow can be found throughout every nation. And when all of those colors were blended well, you became my greatest creation. Your hair is the texture of lamb's wool. Such a humble little creature is he. I am the shepherd who watches them. I am the one who will watch over thee. You are the color of midnight sky. I put the stars' glitters in your eyes. There's a smile hidden behind your pain. That's the reason your cheeks are high. You are the color of dark clouds form when I send my strongest weather. The one you love, they will remember. Your stature is strong, your bone structure thick to withstand the burdens of time. The reflection you see in the mirror, the image looking back at you is mine. Let that in. We are here for a divine purpose. We have purpose. I am love is the theme for this month. Chapter 1, in the beginning, God. So we move forward from being renewed to being love. Oh my godness, to affirm that I am love and embody its true essence is to truly comprehend what being a child of God represents. So I would love for you to say that. You could say it out loud or say it within. I am love. Stop and think and acknowledge what it feels like to be loved. That image and likeness of something we have never seen but reveals itself. And every time we need, and in those times we don't even know that we need. I am blown away when Ernest Holmes says in chapter 1, in the beginning, God. We wish to discover what we believe in, why we believe in it, and why such a belief is reasonable. And it's speaking on the nature of the invisible cause and how it works, our relationship with it and to it. So, okay, New Thought thinkers, did we grow through the intro, the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it? For everything else will then make sense. To start off our textbook, our teaching, what we say we believe in, what we feel is something that we can accomplish. The rest of the book, just as scripture in Genesis starts out on the power and how to use it and what we're working with. So all of this weaves itself so that we may awaken and understand. We have to acknowledge that we should do what the book, what the teaching asks us to do instead of what we actually do. This teaching, when utilized, changes our perspective, our understanding, and our awareness. We awaken to freedom, thinking that appeared to be hidden before. Nothing is hidden but the Spirit of God that's within you, and we are to activate it and awaken that power within us. In the beginning, God. It's about bringing each of us back to our original state of existence, whole, perfect, and complete. God provided us with all we need to enjoy life, appreciate life, and to attain and keep an attitude of gratitude for whatever lessons and blessings come our way. When Rena was playing the meditation, one of the quotes said, to train your heart and your thoughts to see everything good because there's always something to be grateful for. All unhappiness, discord, the thought of failure, abnormal behavior is described by a psychologist, Dr. Alder, as being occasioned by an error in the life plan. The future, our future, is always the correspondence of the past. The quality of today is not the result of today, but rather the reaction of how we thought and acted yesterday, last week, last year, 5 or 10 years ago. The idea that life is going to always be a bed of roses is a faulty concept of understanding. Because as long as there's uninstructed people are thrown to and fro from worldly events, personal challenges, there will be disharmony, disbelief in what's possible, and wavering faith. Life, with its changes and challenges and uncertainties, is also the most rewarding of cosmic opportunities. It's filled with love and potential power. However, this world of ours, this unlimited source of ours, must be studied and understood before we can reap the benefits and prosper in all the ways that matter. Wherever unselfishness, goodwill, and true divine love is found, there also is discovered the presence of God, love at the highest level. Can we just take that in? When we're unselfish, when we have goodwill towards all and true love, it is found and discovered that there, right there, the presence of God, love at the highest level. Breathe that in and feel that, because we have this opportunity in this moment to change our course. I believe that most people want to live bravely, honestly, and successfully. It's in our nature to do so. We were created out of an image and likeness that is love, that is truth, that is kindness, that is patient, that is respectful. We don't start off desiring to struggle through life, but as hate, envy, mistrust, fear, worry are allowed to manifest in the hearts and minds of a people, we there will be in wars, rumors of them, and not just with countries, but we can see that within ourselves. And then that'll spill over into our household, then spill over into the families, and then our neighborhoods and communities. Everything that we see, we inherited some of it, but we're also a state of consciousness in the world that we see right now. By the weaving of our thoughts into the higher realm of consciousness, it shines a light on the appearance of darkness, and we then can evolve to a realization of spiritual living. I am love is the beginning of true living. With God for us, no one, no thing, or challenge can be against us. When they show up, it's our opportunity to show what we truly believe. Ernest Holmes says, just like with Genesis, in the beginning, God, spirit, intelligence only. For us, it means consciousness, our word, our belief, our faith. Do we really believe our word has power? The same power that all master teachers utilized and utilizing today. So what causes us to doubt, to fear, to worry, to be anxious, to gossip, to promote the negative more than we do the positive? To affirm I am love is to cleanse our subconscious of the small stuff. And I say small stuff because the subconscious contains our past. It's just sitting there dangling its little feet, waiting for us to resort back to the old ways, the past ways, and play that old movie that hurts and bring you down over and over and over again. That's why prayer, meditation, affirmation, and declaration is so important, because then you are able to dissipate and dissolve that negative, that hurt, that anger, that feeling of mistreatment. So it's something we have to do every day. And usually what happens when we have a challenge, taking care of a loved one, and it could be a parent or a husband or a wife or a child, when our job changes, when our financial situations change, we only pray for a minute. We ask somebody else to pray for us. But as Dr. Ronnie reminded us, we have the same power, and we need to do the work for ourselves and then have our spiritual village around us. But so often we give up. We put a time limit on it. And we feel like if something is not happening that I could see or feel right away, then it's not going to happen. But we are to hold on to it, not let it go until it has blessed you. Now, it may not change your circumstance, but it will lift you up out of feeling hurt, out of feeling bogged down, because the light of God, the light of love will shine upon that kept you heavy. Chapter 1 reiterates the book of Genesis with instructions on how to bring life to life on our behalf. The power it employs, the ability to think and cause things to happen through the power of our word, with the assistance of the law. And the law is the executor of the word. And that's why, again, it's so important to not talk about or think about the experiences you don't want. The law has no respecter of the thinker. It's just the butler, the server. So whatever you ask it for, whatever you talk about and believe in, that butler called the law has to serve you with it. And what that does is it creates a mirror so we can see what our consciousness is looking like and thinking like. I am love is connecting, feeling that oneness of spirit. For God knows no opposite of truth, kindness, joy, divine right action, beauty, patience, and respect. And through our consciousness, God is forever creating more of its nature to us by doing it through us. But are we available? Are we recognizing, unifying, and realizing that it's possible, that it's truth? And that's how our heart is beating. That's how our blood is flowing. That's how things come out of the seeming invisible, because spirit is using each of us, the greatest of its creation. And then we have to top that off with an attitude of gratitude, and then releasing and surrendering that it returns back to us, that desire, that need, and it brings it with a harvest of fulfillment. Love is the very substance and power, spiritual connection that assists us in locating meaning and purpose in our lives. Spiritual love walks with us through life, even through those lessons and challenges. When we truly live in love, in spirit, we shall understand all of life experiences and never angry, lost, or bitter, or regretful. When you realize that you have this constant companion, and we could call it what we want to this month, today, we're calling it love. When you recognize that you are walking with that, breathing through that, then you can't be angry, lost, or bitter, or regretful, because you know that God is at that moment creating something new based on consciousness, based on instruction and direction of how we want and need that power. Love, spirituality, connects us to something that's bigger than ourselves, which will either further or stunt our spiritual growth, our awareness in this thing called life. Whatever we are against, it will show up as. And that's why it's so important to utilize the love that God wants to use each of us for. Because when we look at our brothers and sisters, our young boys and girls, when we look at a pandemic and we talk about what's already wrong with it, we continue to feed the monster. But when we can look at discord and bring it up to a higher level and see God moving in through it because of this liquid, invisible power, that's how we change things in a twinkling of an eye. So when I say not being against anything, I don't mean not being against violence, hate, and injustice. I mean, don't feed it. Take this teaching and counteract it. In those instances, when we see something that's out of order, that's out of love, we are to locate within the mind of God solutions, answers, and healings, not to add to the issue that already exists. We are love. Love is the thing that heals all. Whatever the question, love, God, good is the answer. When we say that I am, we are declaring our spiritual identity. So to say I am sick, I am tired, I am old, I am broke, I am not worthy, is going against who we truly are. And again, the mirror has to be held up to show you what you're thinking. And that's that opportunity that we have to be ye transformed by the renewing of our mind. we are doing exactly what Ernest Holmes says. The word is permanent. When it speaks that word, thought, belief is equipped to perpetuate itself. The law of being, just as the carrot seeds contains within itself all that is necessary for the reproduction of its kind. It cannot be anything else. That would produce confusion and lack of order. So we are to speak health, even in the face of pain and dis-ease. We are to speak wellness and wholeness, and we are to speak it until we absolutely believe it. We are to speak peace within ourselves, within our household, within our families and our communities. We are to speak it until we absolutely believe it, because then the energy of you, the attraction through you, will reveal it. Can you affirm, I am love, and say it every hour of every day until you actually can witness everything about your life being and demonstrating love? I am love is the name of our spiritual selves, known as you, known as me. It is our Christ child. God made the mechanical universe, the plant and animal life, but felt some greater creation coming forth through itself. God called forth a being that could respond to and understand it. So God created you and me, who can have real life within itself. God did this by imparting its own nature within each of us, that image and that likeness, gave us self-choice and power to back our choices. Look at what have been accomplished through the wisdom, power, and love of God throughout the ages. And then imagine what else consciousness can bring forth. To affirm to self that I choose to connect with the joy within me and allow it to emerge is to declare I am love. To affirm I enter each morning into life consciously, confidently, and enthusiastically means that I am affirming I am love. To affirm, I now decide to live my life on purpose, allowing myself to be guided to that which is for my greatest good, is to declare that I am love. This is a do-it-yourself life. By right of belief, trust, and faith, it is to affirm this teaching. There is a reciprocal action between universal mind and individual mind. In other words, we have to do our part in the process of creating in our lives our happiness, our peace, our joys, our successes, our great and respectful relationships. So make use of the blessings and the gifts that God has provided. Thomas Troward said, God provides the food, the substance, but we must cook our own dinner. We must produce the life we want. No one can do it for us. We are the master chefs creating the masterpiece of our own life. This is one of the blessings of being in human form on this planet, is we have free will and the power to co-create. Yet this blessing may appear to be a curse, a rough life, a short-changed life. But that is only our misuse or allowing our power to lie dormant, not using it at all, just leaving it up to the world or whatever happens, leaving it up to your job, leaving it up to your pastors. You have to be the master chef in your life. It is up to us to constructively use the spiritual power at our disposal. And that requires us to understand the spiritual laws. Anything and everything that has happened in life speaks of either our aspirations, our complaints, our struggles, our protests, our regrets, our unbelief, joys, perplexity, rebellion, submission. But our textbook, our teaching asks us, what are we going to do about it? If you don't like it, what are you going to do about it or about them? So when we speak our word, when that word is positive, when that word is in alignment with truth, we are dispelling and dissolving and eliminating any and everything that's unlike the presence and power of God. Our best choice in life is to grow through anything and everything. Grow through it. Be an example. Have a testimony. We grow when we move out of our comfort zone. See, we like to just be and be certain of something, but we must trust God more and be sure that as we move, God is moving with, for, and through us. I am love. I am a living idea of God. Just as a drop of the ocean water is still the very substance of the ocean. Our individuality is just that, an expression of all that God is. When Proverbs 17:22 says, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones, it is telling us when we look on the brighter side of life, life shines a light in the way of healing, answers, breakthroughs, provision, open doors. Isaiah 35:1 says, the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. Whatever is out of order, truth, love, and faith will bring it back into balance and to harmony. But when we allow in our life lessons to be hurt and to be regretful, we then give them the power and they will grow. God within us is never troubled. The activity of God is what heals our lives. I want to read to you in my closing. It's called the Spoon Allegory, and I'm sure some of you have heard this as well. And this also shows us the different streams of consciousness through the one power. It says a man was once taking on a tour of hell, and hell is a state of consciousness, and was surprised by what he saw. All hell's inhabitants sat at long tables in a dining room, spoons in their hands, the best smelling and best looking food to have ever graced a dining room, filled the air with an exquisite aroma. But all the diners' arms were tied to slats of wood that kept their arms extended. And in this position, the poor souls were unable to bend the spoons to their mouths. Hell was filled with hungry, tortured people by the fact that they were so close to the most amazing food imaginable, and yet could not eat it. Then the man visited heaven, another state of consciousness, and found the same scenario. Long tables, hungry souls, strapped arms, unable to bend their hands to their mouths to eat. But there was a profound difference. The souls in heaven sat across from each other, not trying to feed themselves, but trying to feed the person sitting across from them. You see, the difference between heaven and hell, it might be said, is that the inhabitants of hell are concerned only for themselves. Heaven, on the other hand, is populated with people who spend their time serving and thinking about each other, one another. Life responds to us when we can proclaim with certainty that I am loved, that I am one with my source. A writer says that the soul is homesick and it cannot recover until it finds complete union with its lifeline. We do that through prayer, through visioning, through meditation, through affirmation. The methods that keep our consciousness and emotions off the challenge and on possibility. Let us look across the new horizon of greater good. God's love always embraces us. God's wisdom is always within us, and God's joy is ours to share. So to affirm that I dwell in the house of love, that my dwelling place is filled with peace and eternal calm, is to allow sorrow to dissolve into gladness, shame to rejoicing, our tears of sadness to be wiped away. Love in divine mind is the idea of universal unity. Love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony. The universe and everything in it is divine love. God created it. So for the sake of love, let's love in harmony. Let's affirm that I am love. Let us today move to live life full of love. For love is easygoing in the way that it glides and unfolds in each of us. Love is ours to feel and give. Love as a universal power cannot be obscured by all the attention given to romantic love or the often complicated love that we have grown to accept in our relationships with family, friends, and coworkers. I'm talking about a love that's deeper than just feelings, a knowingness, an absolute truth and power. Fillmore says the power of love insists that it's all good because it's all God. And by refusing to see anything else but good, it causes that quality finally to appear in all circumstances. Not saying to think love through all things is easy, but anything worth having is worth us fighting for. And our peace of mind and the true feeling of God's love everywhere that we go is worth fighting for. Catch yourself before you speak. Spiritually respond before you humanly react. Use your thoughts to bring harmony. The power is ours to direct. Acts of kindness will reveal the love we are. We can accomplish this. I am love. It is so, and so it is. Peace and blessings, family.